Hello, you're very welcome to Destination Newry's Newsbite here on a Wednesday evening. And I have to say a very special hello to Shimmy Parr. Shimmy's making his debut tonight. Hello to Justin down below me here. And of course, the legendary Jarlath from Rostrevor. But before I get talking to that, I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis of the news. The coronavirus, one further death has been recorded in Northern Ireland, bringing the total to 547. And there have been 6 more deaths in the Republic of Ireland, bringing their total to 1,726. And the total deaths in the island of Ireland is 2,273. So there are 154 further deaths in the UK, and that's bringing their total to 43,081. Amnesty International has called on the Police Service of Northern Ireland to suspend the use of spit hoods after an admission they prove no protection from COVID-19. Masks to protect healthcare staff against COVID had not been properly tested as well. Scotland has announced its pubs and restaurants will reopen from the 10th of July, a week after they open here. And Ireland's largest business group, IBAC, has called for international travel restrictions in the Republic of Ireland to be ended. At the moment, people entering the country from abroad have to quarantine for 14 days. Again, here, the deaths and the COVID-19 for Newry Morning Down, 293 and 45 deaths, the same as yesterday. And Armagh City Banbridge and Craigavon, 541 confirmed cases with 81 deaths. Globally, there are now 9.2 million cases and almost 477,000 deaths due to COVID-19. And there are more than 100,000 people have now died in Latin America due to the coronavirus. In the south of Ireland, Eamon Ryan hopes Green membership takes leap to back deal. Green Party leader Eamon Ryan has said he hopes a government can be formed and urged its party members to get their votes in on accepting a deal for government before Friday's deadline. Mr. Ryan said it's a leap to bring everyone on board, but he believes the Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael are up for making serious changes on climate policy and will work as a team with the Green Party to implement measures agreed on the programme for government. He said that the soul of the Green Party is in good health and he hopes it will pass the programme for government. Well, we'll wait for that one and we'll wait until the weekend to see how that pans out. Well, as he did say, we're now talking to the community activists. A very, very special hello to Shimmy Parr from Clonduff and Hilltown there. And Shimmy used to play in goals for Clonduff. And of course, Justin down below is there, a Carlow man, and he's living in Burren. And of course, the legendary Jarlath. And I just have found out the last time these two men actually spoke to each other was in Australia, at a wedding, I believe, way back in 2016. So it just shows you the power of Destination Newry. We can reach around the world to Hilltown and Rostrevor and Australia, and then we can connect these two men here this evening. So, lads, you're very welcome. But Jarlath, a little bit of breaking news. You have a wee story to tell us there. You just have to get that hot off the wires there about the food parcels.
Yes, Damien. Delighted to join you again this week. Yes, we had an email there this evening, and there's also been a press release on the council Facebook page. Over 2,000 people, Damien, in our district have availed at some stage over the past 11 weeks with the food parcel programme. People that were in need throughout the health crisis. Now, it was inevitable that project or process wasn't going to last forever. So we get notified this evening that from this Friday on, the 26th of June, that the boxes will only be distributed to households who are shielding, people who are unable to get out to buy food or indeed get food in. So for those that aren't shielding, the council will no longer be providing the boxes and instead will be providing details on a range of ways that people can access food. So I know that the different coordinators in each area were in constant contact with those 2,000 plus residents of our district, and I would hope that they will all be brought up to date. And post this Friday, no one will be going without. So I expect letters to be sent out or phone calls to be made to that effect to let the affected people know. However, anybody who wants more information, they can get it on the council Facebook page. Thanks, Damien.
Listen, Jarlath, thanks a million. And before we go, we're going to go to Justin first for the community news. But before I go there, I suppose we're all deeply involved in the GAA. And I know from an Armagh point of view, our league start on the 31st of July. And then, of course, we all the permutations about getting back into training and getting the fields ready and getting the facilities ready and all that. It has been a monumental effort by all the clubs right across the whole area, right across the country, I suppose. So in relation to, I suppose, how you are going there. I know we did touch about this last week, but again, Justin, how's Bourne? What way is Bourne getting on at the minute about all this? Have you got all your online forms filled in? Have you got all your online certificates and what have you ready?
It's quite interesting. Like, obviously, things have changed slightly since we've spoken last week. Last week, the plan was that everybody back on the pitch on Monday the 29th, which is next Monday, in groups of 10, 2 coaches, non-contact until the 20th of July, where then you could go to full contact. I suppose the challenge now, there's a lot of conjecture as to what's happening, and the main reason for that conjecture is the fact that last Friday the Irish government actually updated the information about group participation, particularly in sports. And I have a feeling the reason that announcement came out was probably Leo Varadkar's last opportunity to give out some good news before he steps aside as Taoiseach. So as it stands at present in the Republic of Ireland, access to pitches begins tonight for adult footballers, male and female. Non-contact, groups of 15 down south, groups and with 2 coaches. And the plan is then on Saturday evening, the pitches are open to all age groups, again, non-contact. But this Monday, the 29th, they've brought forward the full contact and full number training and games from the 20th of July. Okay. Now, normally there's an alignment between what happens in the Republic with the north of Ireland. And I've been having a couple of discussions with people who are in the know. And we're hoping to get an announcement from the Northern Ireland Executive tomorrow to basically go in alignment with that. So what's the implications of any changes that we have? Well, we've been saying all along, and you've just mentioned it yourself, Damien, that we had expected the leagues to begin on the 31st of July. If we're in a situation where we get back on the playing fields in full contact next Monday night, there's a possibility that those competitive league games could be brought forward to the middle of July. There may be a knock-on effect as well, as where the county management teams, the likes of Paddy Tally and Ciara McGeaney, etc., will want access to their players an awful lot earlier than I thought, because originally it was supposed to be a situation where they could not get access to their county players until the 15th of September. So we're in a situation now where, as of this evening, we have individuals on the pitch. In Burren here, we've had a number of Zoom calls with coaches, making sure they're clear and understand what they need to do, with all of the parents and players last night in terms of the online module and the health questionnaire. And I was just online earlier myself tonight. There must be an awful lot of people online trying to do the health questionnaire because the system crashed mid-afternoon. So there's a lot going on. But I would like to think our expectation is that tomorrow there should be an announcement by Northern Ireland Executive aligning to what the announcement is down south, where we will have full contact training with full numbers and challenge games from next Monday evening.
Okay, that's good news, Justin. But I sort of think that if one jurisdiction has a different rule than the other, I don't think that would have I don't think the virus would be passing much remarks on that. So we look forward to that one. And I suppose if you did mention Leo Varadkar stepping down over the weekend, well, we'll see what happens with the Green Party and all that. And yes, that probably is another reason for the whole thing being brought forward. But Shimmy, you're a new man on the block here with us this evening, and you did play a bit of football, and we do believe you got a good haircut coming on this evening. So again, what's happening with the football in Clonduff?
With Clonduff, I say Justin's probably he's probably brushed up on there a lot. With Clonduff, the way we've looked at, we've had to get aerial shots of the whole club, and we'll have to take a way of coming in, coming out. The amount of the volume of people coming into the club and through all codes has to be looked at. I feel with the lads there getting back to training, no contact. If the league games do push up 2 weeks, you're only going to really get a week to maybe 10 days of training with contact. It's not a lot, but at the end of the day, the lads are. Listen, everybody's eager to get back and get playing football and making something of the season, you know. So, but in regards to that, Clonduff, we're trying. We've got everybody filling in the forms. We're trying our best to get the forms in, get everybody filled in, so that there's no delays once that ball's through in, you know. So.
Look, I can almost taste and smell the leather as we speak. And Jarlath, I know probably St. Bronus is in the same category down there as well. There's no question about it. But you know, I have serious issues about people getting injured, because if you're going to be playing 2 or 3 matches in a week and we haven't really trained in maybe 4 or 5 months, that's going to be an issue as well. So it's something that all clubs will have to monitor, and they have to be careful about it. Jarlath, I assume you're in the same boat as the rest of us.
Yes, as Seamus said there, Damien, very good summary by Justin. And all you would have to do there is change the club crest to make that information applicable to all the other clubs. The health and well-being, of course, is the number one issue as we ease back into some sort of sense of normality in our own club, and indeed, no doubt this is happening throughout the country. They're putting very stringent measures in place, particularly in regard to the health questionnaire. I mean, there's nobody going to be allowed through the gates or onto a blade of grass, be that player, mentor, or anybody else, without going through all those processes that are necessary. So it may be strict. It may be, maybe people would say, there's too strict an interpretation, and there is always that risk that we're trying to do too much in a very short season or a window, which we've already lost probably the best part of 2.5 months. But we're just going to have to see. This is new territory for everybody, and I mean, if there's no template for this, and we just have to see what way it plays out.
Look, there's no doubt, and of course, our health and well-being of all our players, our parents, and our supporters is paramount in everything we do. And as long as people understand that, and as long as people understand that each club and every club is doing their very, very best to look after the interests of everybody, and it is about keeping people safe, and that's the whole thing, you know. Because when I look at how this whole pandemic has sort of crossed every sort of boundary, I look at 2 words, and I look at health, and it starts with a H, and then I look at wealth, and it starts with a W, and I think sometimes is the wealth more important than the health? And in my opinion, it's not. Health is paramount in everything we do. So that's our little synopsis of the GA this afternoon and this evening. And firstly, we're going to go to Justin, and then we're going to go to Shimmy. So Justin, tell us what's happening in the lovely part of County Down called Burren.
Yeah, well, I just continue on the GA vein for the moment. One thing I'll say is, last week I was critical of the LGFA on the fact that they had no pathway in terms of back to football competition for ladies football in Down. I have to say they've responded very well, and they have pulled together quite a comprehensive plan that is in place now. So well done to the LGFA. Many of you will probably know that the draw for the Down GA Senior Football Championship was made last night. Some very, very interesting draws. Burren have Warren Point. Interesting draw for Shamey there. Clonduff against Carryduff. So it's going to be some really cracking games. I suppose the one thing that I would say is, at the moment, the way that the championship is scheduled, there's a lot of games in a very, very short period of time. The first round is scheduled for the weekend of the 13th of August. The second round is the 21st of August. The third round is the 27th of August. And then you have the semi-finals scheduled for the 12th of September, and with the final by the 20th of September. So if those dates stay the way they are, it is going to be a very, very tight and comprehensive competition over a short period of time. What I would say is that it is still being run in a round-robin backdoor process. So it's not, if you lose once, you're not out, essentially. The draws are also made for the intermediate, the junior, the reserve and the Premier Reserve as well. So we look forward to hearing the dates for those particular competitions. From the point of view of other things outside of the GA, I suppose one of the things, one of the groups I wanted to mention is the Burren Community Forum, a very important group within the community here. They're instrumental in pulling together a local newspaper on a weekly basis. But they've also set up a group called the Local Evergreen Group, which is a group specifically for elderly people. And they have done some really, really sterling work in pulling together some classes for them in terms of well-being, but also strength and balancing exercise classes. Now, they haven't been able to meet for a long period of time, but they are in a situation where they're putting events in place to help ensure that all of the evergreens do stay in touch. And the first thing is basically that they're providing all of their group members with a voucher for the Golf Links House in Newcastle for afternoon tea, and we hope they all enjoy that. Finally, I'm going to come to birthdays, and we have a number of roundy birthdays that are taking place within Burren. So the first one would be for a very quiet, unassuming and retiring electrician in Burren called Eamon Fagan. Eamon, congratulations, 50 years of age. You're very well congratulated by all of your friends and family. The second one is Kevin Ryan. Kevin is a stalwart of Burren GA Club, and again, his family and friends wish him the very, very best on his recent 40th birthday. And then we have a young man called Charlie Rafferty. Now, Charlie is 9 years of age, but he will be 10 this Sunday. And Charlie is doing something special for his birthday. Charlie, as you can see there, Charlie is a big head of curly blonde hair, something Damien, yourself and myself, and even Jarlath would think would be great to have. But Charlie is going to shave his head on Sunday next, all in aid of the Newry Hospice. And Newry Hospice looked after Charlie's granddad, Des Kennedy, a number of years ago. And just to say thank you, Charlie is hoping to raise at the very least £1,000 for that particular good cause. I think it's very, very important that we look at charities like the Southern Area Hospice, because in this downturn, their revenue streams are going to be impacted on because of individuals not giving as much as charity as possible. So Charlie will have a Just Giving page, and anybody who wants to donate, you're all very, very welcome. So well done there, Charlie. And finally then, the other initiative that we have coming up is for a trucking good cause, it's called. So this is in memory of a great local man, and was Des Rooney. And Desi passed away earlier this year. And his family had planned this truck, van and tractor show, and it was going to take place in the Burren grounds on the 2nd of May. But obviously, because of the COVID situation, it had to be postponed. So I'm delighted to say it has been rescheduled, and it's hoping, and we are expecting that we would be able to run the event on the 29th of August. And again, all support welcome for Macmillan Nurses and Southern Area Hospice. So that's my roundup for this week. Damien, back to yourself.
Okay, Justin, I have to say, I have to commend young Charlie. Well, he's going to be 10 on Sunday, and he's getting his hair cut. I mean, just think of that. A young fella, and he has a good head of hair. But to even think of doing that, Justin, I think he could be your Burren Man of the Month, maybe, coming up
Absolutely.
with something like that. I think it's, and they talk about our young people, and I always say our young people can always surprise us, and I have to take my hat off to young Charlie and ask him, would he give me some of that hair? Because I think the two of us could be doing with some of it, Justin. So,
You're
Justin,
right.
Thanks a million, and stay safe, and we'll see you all next weekend. And then we're going to go from Burren, we're going to slide up towards Mayo Bridge and on over the hill to the Gateway of the Morn, and we're going to meet the legendary Shimmy Parr making his debut on Destination Newry. Shimmy, again,
Thanks.
You're very, very welcome
Thanks,
here this evening.
Thanks, Dan.
And you have plenty to tell us about Clonduff and what's happening out in Hilltown.
Indeed, I do. Listen, Damien, I want to thank Charlie, first of all, for nominating me. I was on my honeymoon away over in America, and I didn't meet him for a pint one time, and I knew he would come back to haunt me. So thanks for that, Charlie. Yep, but a bit of Clonduff news here for you, Damien. Yeah, for anyone who wasn't aware, the Down GAA Championship draws were made last night. The Clonduff hurlers have drawn Shamrocks in the Intermediate Championship round 1. Clonduff senior footballers, they've been drawn up against Carryduff, while in the Reserve Football Championship, the lads, they're drawn up against Tyconnet. Premier Reserve, the boys will play Brainsford. The dates and times and venues haven't just been confirmed yet, but they will be at a later date. So on behalf of the club, we just want to wish the lads all the best in the preparations for them games. The club also wants to know anyone making a return to play that they need to fill in that GAA health questionnaire, which can be found on the Clonduff Facebook page or the GAA website. Next up then, this Saturday, 27th of June, the club is having an organised social distance clean-up. This is basically get their club ready for the return to training and the games for all codes. So it's starting at 8 o'clock. Please, everyone, try, get down for a couple of hours. If you can do a couple of hours and someone else do a couple of hours, not be long rattling through it. So if you can, that'd be great. So next up, Clonduff Lotto, that returns on Monday, 6th of July, with a jackpot of 5,800. So it's not to be missed. Anyone from around the world can enter using the Club Funder website. You'll find the address on the Facebook page, and as they say, if you're not in, you can't win. So just like that. The club, on a serious note here, the club would like to remember Pierce Brannigan, whose 2nd anniversary was just yesterday. It's not easy losing a son, a brother, a teammate, so everyone at the club would like to keep his family and friends in our thoughts during these difficult times. So just remember us there. Just need to congratulate, the club would like to congratulate Akadurg's Deirdre McGrath on her awards for services to Camogie. It's nice to recognise all members that give up their voluntary time, but it's actually nice when a local council awards you for it. So congratulations, Deirdre, for that. We've got a wee short video coming up here, Damien. We'd like to share with everyone. It's from a good mate of mine, Finbar Murphy. This is just one of the videos that is promoting our 2020 kilometre challenge that's happening this day a week, Wednesday, the 1st of July, right up to the Sunday the 5th. So we're just going to see a wee clip it here. No, you mightn't see it, Damien, but we'll come back to that one. Yep, so 2020 challenge, that's taking part, that's next Wednesday, the 1st of July. So what we're doing is we're asking all members and non-members to basically get active around the club. Walking, running, cycling, skipping, hop, jumping. There's the video now if you just want to put it on there.
To start our Clonduff 2020, so we're going to try and run 5k for Clonduff to raise money for 2 very important charities, St Vincent de Paul and the Southern Area Hospice. It's a great cause, and especially I suppose at this time it's a great way for everybody to get involved in getting together. We're just going to use the top and bottom car park here, just I suppose for safety reasons. I'm just going to do a few laps and try and get my 5k in that way. Unfortunately though, it is a bit overcast and there's a chance of rain. I just don't do too well in the rain, and I've got a slight twinge in my glute, my right glute there. So I'm just going to get 2 substitutes in here, but I'm going to encourage them along as we go. Right, lads. Ready? Ready? And go! Keep going, faster, 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 faster. That's it, keep going. Look, everybody in the 5k.
That was just one of the videos there leading up to promoting the 2020 challenge. We'll have the other one probably not fit for air, but if you get a chance, go on to the Facebook page and take a wee pick at that. So basically, with only 40 members registered so far, but we're regularly through our kilometres. So you've got 5 days to do as many kilometres as you feel you can. So if you can, send your names and numbers to clonduff2020@gmail.com. That's the address there. put your details in, and once we all get it sorted, at the end of it, we're hoping to raise as much money as we can for two great charities. So that'd be nice to do that. Now, just a couple of congratulations. That man you seen in the video there, Finbar, I would like to congratulate him and Nolene on the birth of their third baby boy, Oisin. That now completes Clonduff's hurling full back line. So congratulations there. Also, congratulations to Aidan Kiar and his wife Mary on the birth of their baby girl, Cassie. She'll hopefully be donning the yellow jersey in the not too distant future. Also, congratulations to James and Aisling Devlin on the birth of their son. James and Aisling, they're spent countless hours at the Hilltown INF Hall, so big congrats from everyone there. The GAA Healthy Clubs Challenge soon coming to an end next week here, but it's been a great incentive to get people out and get them active. We've got our own milkman, Brendan Murray, leading the charge with Tony Wilson hot on his heels. So the crack is from Tony's wife, Aileen, that he wasn't getting enough training done in and around Hilltown, so he's away to a training camp in England to try and catch Brenton, who's in first place. So keep her lip there, Tony. All right. Last Saturday night there, saw the final video of the Oscars that we had a few years back. The field was shown, and really, if anyone hasn't seen it yet, get on to the Clonduff Facebook page. Jimmy Devlin, that played the Bull McCabe, he has to get a special mention, I feel, anyway, but he was brilliant, start to finish. Everyone was, but Jimmy in particular, getting a lot of comments on Facebook, and there might be a wee snippet coming up there for you if you.
Good day, ma'am. Here's your rent for the field.
Thank you, Mr. McCabe.
Your anniversary must be soon, ma'am.
Yes. 10 years next week.
Sure, 'tis a long time for a woman to be in mourning.
Long enough.
What use is a field to you without a man to farm it for you?
No use.
You see, I make an arrangement for Tig to be settled. Would you ever think of selling the field ever?
You know well enough I've no son of my own. I think about it all the time.
It would be in good hands, ma'am. Good day to you.
So that just a wee snippet there. Damien he's going to maybe put on the full length after this is all over. So if anybody wants to stay tuned, they'll be able to see that. So just now a couple of notes here. Just a big thank you to our local councillor, Gerard O'Hare. He's helped bring the environmental improvement scheme to Hilltown. So in the next few months, Hilltown will be getting access, improved access for local residents, upgrading the street lighting and the footpaths. So of course, there's going to be some slight disruption to the businesses and to the people of Hilltown. But listen, the fund was available, and why shouldn't Hilltown receive it? So Gerard, thanks again for your continued work on behalf of Hilltown and Cabra people. This week as well, Hilltown and Cabra primary schools said farewell to, or the schools themselves said farewell to the primary 7 students. So it's not really the goodbye everyone would have liked but listen, 2020 will definitely be one that we can remember. So I'm being a bit biased here. I'm just showing a wee photograph of my niece there in her wee Leavers hoodie that they all got. So on behalf of everyone in Hilltown and Cabra, we want to wish you all best of luck in your next steps, and good luck to you whenever the next school term starts. So just to end here, I've got a few birthday shout outs there. So I've got Beth Fitzpatrick just down the road from me here. Happy birthday, Beth. Paula O'Hagan, Paula, big 30 celebrations, 30th. Happy birthday, Paula. Patrina Lively, not sure, Patrina, when you're going to get Dorn's Bar open for a few drinks, but until then, sure, we'll get it sorted. And Leanne Quinn, happy birthday, Leanne, from all your friends and family. So, listen, folks, Damien, thanks very much for having me on. And
Shimmy,
Absolutely,
for a man that's made his debut here this evening, you're very welcome back. There's no question about that. And if you have a little video of the school leavers in Cabra and Hilltown, and you get that, we can play it up here in Destination Newry. We would love to have it if there is any little videos. And listen, thanks a million. Yes, we're going to run at the end of, once Jarlath finishes and I come back on again, we're going to run the field, and it is absolutely worth seeing. And gosh, the woman was very stern looking there. She was very scary, I can tell you. But the Bull McCabe, great film, and this man, well, he could give the Bull a run for his money. So we're looking forward to that at the end of the show. So listen, Shimmy, thanks a million. Hopefully we'll see you next Wednesday night. Thanks a million. And we'll go from Hilltown. We're going to slide over the mountain road down into Rostrevor, and we have the legendary Jarlath Tinley. Jarlath, again, thanks for waiting there, and tell us what's happening down around the shores of Rostrevor.
Yes, hi Damien. First thing we'll start with this week, the Seamus had touched on it there. The primary sevens, they nearly were robbed of their last days at primary school this year. And I suppose it goes without saying, this is a year that none of us will forget. But those children will certainly not forget their final weeks and months at primary school, which at this stage now was 3 months ago. So the teachers and the Parent Teacher Association have come up with a wonderful initiative this Friday night. They're going to have a drive-through send-off for the P7 pupils. And what's happening is they're asking the parents and pupils to gather at the back of the GAA car park down in the village, and they're going to pull out at 7 and they're going to drive up through the village and then into the school car park, where the teachers will be waiting to hand out school hoodies as a memento of their time in St. Bronagh's. Now, I know that the staff, I really have to commend them for their efforts in this regard, because they intend to put up bunting and sort of make the place look a little bit special for the children, considering what they've been through in the past few months. And they would ask that people, residents along the route, would come out and wave and come out and clap to show their appreciation, because these children, Damien, have gone through an experience this year that neither their parents nor grandparents probably ever had to face, where we all were able to see out our days at primary school. But those are the moments those are memories that you carry with you for your life. So it's great that their final memory of their interaction with the primary school is hopefully going to be a happy one. And I hope the weather stays good and everything goes well for them this Friday night. Second story is an epic tale of a cycle to Bundoran. Now, this happened, Damien, last Saturday morning, when there was a group of local cyclists who set out from Rostrevor and hit Bundoran, 350 kilometres round trip, and done it all on the one day. So I'll tell you what I'd done. Barry Tinley was one of the group, and I asked Barry to draft me a few notes, because I was actually tired reading it. never mind trying to think of the efforts that the cyclists put in. But if you indulge me just for a minute or two here, I'll read this out. So 5 years on from the unbroken record-breaking win at the 2015 Race Around Ireland, it is great to see local cyclists Barry Tinley and Rowan McMahon, along with a few other friends, still pushing the boundaries on their cycling activities. Last Saturday, June 20th, Barry, Rowan, along with local doctor Tim Lewis and local ladies Theresa Power and Leona Farrell and 3 others, set themselves the challenge of cycling from Rostrevor to Bundoran and back in the one day. A journey that many would not even contemplate by car. never mind on a bicycle. An epic day indeed. Some of the most rewarding and toughest days on the bike, says Barry, are the ones when you set off from home early in the morning, not knowing if you will make it home again, without having to call someone for a lift, or taking rest in a bus shelter until your body is able to carry you the final miles. So last Saturday was one of those days. They rolled out early on Saturday morning with a plan to cycle across Ireland and then turn and come home again. In one day, 350 odd kilometres or 220 English miles. Almost 3,000 metres of climbing involved. Absolute madness. Anyway, according to Barry, it looked good on paper during the planning stages, but for many of them, it would be the toughest and longest cycle in one day that they ever undertook. So what happened next was pure perfection. 8 people who had never pedalled many miles together on the road gelled together like lifelong friends and made the journey from coast to coast the spin of a lifetime. They caught a tailwind on their way out toward Donegal. That took them through Armagh, up Macloy, a quick stop in Fintona for a coffee, and onwards through Ballyshannon to Bondorn. The crack was good, plenty of chat, few speed records for the girls, and after 6 hours in the saddle, they were at the far side of Ireland, enjoying lunch on the ground outside SuperValue in Bondorn. A chance meeting then in Bondorn with the legendary Brian McAniff had Brian scratching his head as they had told him they had cycled from Rostrevor that morning. So while some of the lads scrambled for their phones for selfies with the legendary man who guided Donegal to their 1992 first All-Ireland win, he stayed and chatted and regaled of his encounters with local Rostrevor legend Peter McGrath over the years, and he obviously showed great affection for Peter and asked after his well-being on numerous occasions during the chat. So Brian waved the party on their way as they cycled home, and in the comfort of his car, while they clipped back into their pedals and headed out into a strong wind. They had watched the weather reports all week. It was into a headwind the whole way home. Surely it couldn't be that bad. They had turned in Bondorn, headed for home and into the headwind. The chat and the jokes stopped. The wind swirled from our side to our back, but mostly in our faces. This was character building time and would be for the next 8 hours. The headwind and rolling hills of Fermanagh bothered us. Lisnaskey for food was a welcome stop at 250 kilometres. And for the rest of the day, it was a matter of picking off the towns towards home and trying to keep the spurs high. First it was Clonus, then Newbliss, then Ballybay, at 290 kilometres for a water stop. And now they could sense the finish was in sight, albeit 60 kilometres away. Then the rain came on, and heavy it was, into the faces. The battle was on, and the group worked like a well-drilled team, protecting those who needed rest, with the strong riders controlling the pace to ensure there was never a few wee lengths between anyone at any time. Into Castleblaney, the first signpost for Newry. Home was in sight and the spurs were lifting, but still conscious that the wheels could come off the wagon at any time. 2 minutes out, 2 minutes in, the group rolled across South Armagh into the constant headwind and incessant rain, and the final push was now on for home. Half an hour later, blasting through Newry, we were shouting our goodbyes and well wishes to each other as the group split and head for their respective homes. No time for stopping and chatting here. Cold was setting in fast, and the comfort of home and warm clothes was now the priority. 40 minutes later, we were all home and dry, tired, cold, and soaked, but buzzing. Days like this create lifelong memories, and it was a pleasure to share the road. The stories, the highs, the lows, the tailwinds, the headwinds, the rain and the accomplishment of riding Ireland coast to coast with 7 others in the one day. Over and back, done and dusted. The two lads and the rest of the group have now started planning their next adventure. The full length of Ireland in one day, the most southerly point to the most northerly, Mizzen Head to Malin Head, non-stop, 350 miles, Damien, 24 hours on a bike, no sleep. And as Barry says, hopefully the wind will be on in the park both ways. Now, I wasn't joking when I told you it was an epic story, absolutely incredible, and I really want to congratulate particularly Barry and Rowan are old hands at this. They're the warriors of the road. But the Teresa Power and Leona Farr, that was simply an incredible achievement. So my heartiest congratulations to them all, and you should be very, very proud of your achievements. So moving on, next story, I want to come back. I covered it a few weeks ago. Damien, was our local group based in the Church of Ireland, our handbellers. Now, the handbellers are going to play a little video here. Maybe, Cahill, go ahead. Yep. I'll just introduce this. This is Puccini's O Mio Babino Caro. Another wonderful effort from the handbellers, and that particular video was the first time 10 of them have been able to get together since the lockdown started to ease, and those extra bellers, Damien, obviously makes a difference. Liz, who you've seen there as the able conductor, is on the BBC Radio Ulster programme this Saturday coming. Your Place and Mine, I think it's on early in the morning. And Liz will be on talking about the work of the handbellers. So well done to them. And I find that music very, very uplifting, and they're excellent at it and getting better all the time. So next one is we'll talk about the GAA activity. We pretty much covered it earlier on, but it's a COVID-19 return to play. The club are like all clubs are taking this. They're taking their approach very, very seriously in this regard, Damien, to make sure that everybody does remain safe as we get back to play. Now, I've been asked to encourage parents to sign up and complete the health questionnaire. Very, very important. There's no wriggle room with this. This is just something, process that has to be followed. Now, Justin did mention it earlier that the system seemed to be in meltdown, the Croke Park system. But we just got to keep trying this because this is an ongoing piece of work, and I suppose it's indicative of the amount of people that are signing up. But the sooner everybody is signed up, and the sooner everybody can get back out onto the field and start to enjoy our national games again, because our own pitch in particular is looking absolutely splendid, I have to tell you. And it'll be great to get back. Now, a wee tip for you, Damien. Rostrevor threw down Patrick in the senior championship. So I wouldn't be going to the bookies, but I wouldn't be stopping you from going if you want to stick a few pounds on them, because this quick attack in and out is something that may suit Rostrevor. Now, that's it with the GAA. We'll go on to just a new item I'm going to try and bring in on a weekly basis, parish notes. I spoke to our local priest, Father Kearns, about this to start and feed some information on a weekly basis. And what Father told me was that with the announcement from Stormont that the restrictions will be lifted from Monday the 29th of June in relation to a wider opening up, there still is no detail on numbers for sort of weddings and funerals and baptisms and so on and so forth. So once that information comes, we will of course bring it to you. But it's great that things are getting back to normal. The chapel is open every day for private worship and private prayer. Father just asked that no more than 3 people be in at any one time and continue to practice social distancing and the 2-meter rule. And of course, anybody that may be symptomatic, just please remain at home at this stage. The other thing I just wanted to refer to on the on last week's leaflet, there is still a fair large amount of the new envelopes sitting at the back of the chapel for collection. Those are things that normally would have went out in April. And there's also details there about where to leave the envelopes on a weekly basis, because inevitably, Damien, the bills still have to be paid. So I hope to have more information then in the weeks to come and on a weekly basis in relation to parish notes. And finally, for this week, an extraordinary endeavour was undertaken yesterday by 2 young men, Matthew Sands and Owen Rice, where they took on the 7 Peak Challenge across the Mourns. And I mean, like, a tough enough undertaking at any time, but for people that are into that sort of high intensity walking, they'll be well aware that you get the 4 seasons in one day down this neck of the woods when you're up in the mountains. So they done it. They done the 7 peaks, and at this moment in time, it was a fundraising effort, and it was a fundraising effort for the Childhood Cancer Foundation Ireland. And so far, that figure there is sitting at £1,280. So an incredible achievement, and my congratulations to them, because they're young lads. I believe they're both first-year university students. And I'll tell you, they're an absolute credit to themselves and their families, a fine example to their peers. I would ask people to consider donating. That screenshot there is from the club Facebook page. So either go through it to find the link to Matthew's page, or indeed go straight on to Matthew's page, and the instructions are there as to how to make a donation, and all donations will be welcome. So Damien, I know I was top heavy with information this week, and I went on a wee bit long, but that's me.
Jarlath, again, thanks for the roundup down round Rostrevor, and as the man says, the sound of the bells. You know, I could give you another movie to get you going there, but you would be sort of cheating, because last time I asked you a question about Radio Caroline, I know you got the information from, so I'm not going to do that tonight. But listen, you know, I could, you know, I could put that one to you, but maybe I'll keep that for next week. You were on long enough tonight. So Jarlath, listen, thanks a million. doing great work in Rostrevor and keeping us well informed of what's happening down around Rostrevor and the area. So again, thanks a million. We'll do this all again next week, Jarlath, and it'll be good to see you. But before we go, we did talk about the men from Hilltown, and Shimmy's back again. And Shimmy, you're going to tell us here what we're going to show out. We're going to show out, I believe, the full video of the field, and you can give us a wee quick. Just, again, brilliant. So Charlie.
No, I say with Jimmy Davin's performance on this, you have to see it to believe it. He's fantastic, as was everybody else. Jimmy now stood out. Now everybody's just giving his plaudits, and well deserved. But listen, if anybody's got a chance there, it's only 11 or 12 minutes long there, so take the time, watch it, and enjoy, I suppose. So
enjoy the Bull McCabe from Clonduff. Take it away there, Cap.
Why did you bring us here? God made the world, but seaweed made that field. And your sons will take care of it, boy. Good day, ma'am. Here's your rent for the field.
Thank you, Mr. McCabe.
Your anniversary must be soon, ma'am.
Yes. 10 years next week.
Sure, it is a long time for a woman to be in mourning.
Long enough.
What use is a field to you without a man to farm it for you?
No use.
You see, I make an arrangement for Tig to be settled. Would you ever think of selling the field ever?
You know well enough I've no son of my own. I think about it all the time.
It would be in good hands, ma'am. Good day to you.
I want to sell the field.
It's the Bull McCabe's field.
It's my field. He rents it.
'Twas rocks before he got it, ma'am.
I want it sold by public auction.
What will the Bull say when he hears this?
I know what he'll say. He'll not be happy. But which one of you's going to bid again him?
So she's putting up the field.
That's right. By public auction on the first day of October.
Public auction? What will happen?
Men will make bids.
Bids? Bids? On my field? Who dare would insult me to bid against me in my own field in Carricktoman?
Well, it could be an outsider, Bull.
Outsiders? Outsiders? Are these the same outsiders that took the corn from our mouths when the potatoes went rotten in the ditches?
Oh, take it easy, Bull.
Are these the same outsiders that took the meat from our tables when we lay in the ditches where the grass just is green and running from our mouths?
Oh, no, Bull.
Are these the same outsiders that sent us to the coffin ships, that scattered us to the four corners of the earth? Are these the same outsiders that watched while our bodies ran silent, except for the last cries of the last starving child?
The English is gone now, Bull.
Gone? Gone because I drove them out, me and my kind. Gone, Flanagan, but not forgotten. No outsider will place a bid on my field.
Well said, Bull. Well said. You're the Bull. You're the Bull.
The winner will get her £50 for the field, the silly woman. The priest will get his Easter Jews, and all will be well in Carricktoman. Give everyone a drink out of that, Flanagan. Bird, where's the McCarthy girl?
There she is, the one in the yellow.
Is she good company?
Oh, she can talk.
Oh, she'd need to. Tig's no orator. Geez, she's got a fine pair of hips. She'll breathe in air all right. Tig. Go and ask the McCarthy girl for a dance. And show her some manners.
Please don't make me. I'm happy here for the moment.
Go and ask her for a dance, boy.
Kathleen, you're looking well tonight.
Thank you, Tag. You know you can look up at me. Are you going to ask me to dance or are you going to stare at the ground all night?
Evening, ladies.
He's a fine gentleman. Wonder why he's around these parts.
I heard he has family from here and he's looking to buy land.
The young girls are very taken by him.
Tag may watch out or the match will be with the Yank and not him.
He's a fine gentleman.
Who? The Yank? What's his kind doing around here?
What y'all laughing at? Think you're too good enough for me? Well, you could do a whole lot worse than the tinker's daughter. You're just afraid that if you dance with me, there'll be no soil under your feet for sleeping in the stars. Well, you could do a whole lot worse. You could sleep under the stars with the tinker's daughter. Is anyone brave enough to dance with me?
I'll dance with you, redhead. I'll dance with the tinker's daughter. Welcome to Carrick Coleman, gang.
Thanks.
Glad to see you all here, gentlemen. Now, who's going to bid me in this fine field?
Get on with it, Flanagan, and may the best man win.
Who's going to bid me in this fine field? 3 acres of green, grassy pasture.
£25.
£25 from Mr. O'Donnell. I hear you now, £25.
£30.
£30 from Mr. McCabe. That's more like it now, £30. Who's going to advance me in £30?
£35.
£35.
£40.
£40 here now, £40. Now, come on, who's going to advance me on £40?
£45.
£45 from Mr. McCabe or Mr. O'Donnell over here.
£50.
£50. Going once, going twice.
£55.
£55 here. Now, who's going to advance me in 55 now?
£60.
£60. The last bid of the day now. Who's going to bid me in £60?
£65.
£70.
What are you doing? You know we don't have that money.
£75.
£75 now.
£80.
£80 now. That's it. Going once, going twice.
Stop. This field will not be sold for £80. There is a reserve price in this field. I'm putting a reserve price of £100 in this field. This is my field. I'm selling it, and I'm going home to my own people.
Move out of the way. Let her through. There's never been a woman harmed in Carrick Coleman. Move.
We don't want any trouble here today.
Why are you interfering, Father? Sure, this is none of your business.
It's the widow's field. She has the right to sell.
No, it's my field. It's my child. I nursed it. I nourished it. I took care of its every want. I made a living thing of it. Those hands. You see those hands? Those rocks. I made a living thing of it. And you want to take it away from me? Here in the sight of God, I can't let you do that.
Can't you find another field?
Another field? Another field? Jeez, you really are a foreigner to these parts. Another field. Those hands. Those hands. And those rocks. It was a dead thing. Don't you understand?
But it's the widow's field. She has a right to sell. It's the law, the common law.
There's another law. One stronger than common law.
And what's that?
The law of the land. When I was a boy, younger than Tig there, my brothers and sisters, they had to leave the land because it couldn't support them. We weren't rich enough to be priests or doctors. It was the immigrant ship for them all. I was the eldest, the heir. I was the only one left at home. Labour was scarce. My father and I had our breakfast, dinner and tea in that field. And the mother brought us our meals. One day, my father sensed a drop of rain in the air. And the mother helped us bring in the hay before it was too late. She was working in one corner of the field and I in another. And I saw her fall back, keel over, so to speak. I called out to my father and I ran to her. My father knelt beside her. He knew she was dying. He said an act of contrition in her ear, and he asked God to forgive her sins. And he said to me, "Fetch the priest." And I said, "Let's bring in the hay first. Let's bring in the hay first." My father looked at me with tears in his eyes and pride in them too. He knew I would look after the land. And if you think that I'm going to face my mother in heaven or in hell without that field, you've got another thing coming, Yank. No Yank, uniform or weapon will stand in my way of that field.